Mercedes-Benz W163, remove the steering wheel. I'm going to remove the tan steering wheel and the tan airbag pad and put these on instead. It's very important to disconnect the battery. Make sure the battery's been disconnected for at least 90 seconds before fiddling around with the airbag. First thing, we'll disconnect the battery. This is the negative terminal on the battery. This is the positive. We'll disconnect the negative. That's a 10mm. Because of how short this cable is, it's very easy to accidentally reclose this circuit. So I put a little plastic cap on there that will prevent the circuit from closing in case this cable, like it just did, accidentally backs up towards that terminal. You can just put a little something on that. Or in the very least tie this back, maybe zip tie it over here. Make sure your battery has been disconnected for a few minutes before attempting to do this, because we're first going to remove the airbag. There's a screw hole here and one also on the other side there, and it's a bit recessed. Inside there is a Torx 27 screw. The screw is a Torx 27. If you only have a Torx 25, you will be able to get it. It's not particularly tight, but it's better to use a Torx 27. If it's easier for you to get a tool in to turn this so that you can address these this way and that way, then do that. I'm actually just going to use this. This is from Harbor Freight. You can get a pack of 3 of these. It'll come with metric and SAE Allen keys, and then these Torx keys as well. Now, I really like this kit from Harbor Freight, and if you can't get in there, you can just grab the other one and use this to open this up, right? And then you can take this out completely. So just remove this screw, okay? Open it up, and there you have it, right? Then you can get in there even if it's a smaller space, and if you need a little more leverage, you can grab on here with your pliers and turn it. And so I'm just in there, and now I'll turn it to break it free. There it is. There's that one. Once I broke them free, I got in here with just a regular Allen key because it's a little easier to reach and they're very easy to turn. You'll just keep turning those screws and then kind of grab this every now and then, and eventually when you get them out enough, you'll be able to pull the airbag out. They'll stay in place. You see, here they are. Right here, and you can just leave them. To disconnect the airbag, there's these 2 electrical here. To undo these, you're just going to get under here with the pick and just kind of lift that up, and then lift this up, and now get under here and just pry this out. Don't break anything. You notice that that is green and that's green, so you won't make any mistakes plugging that back in. Now hold on to the airbag so it doesn't fall when you disconnect this, and pop this pink one up. Pink and pink. Now you can take the airbag. I'm going to replace this pad since I'm going to put on a different color wheel. So the way that the pad is replaced is pretty easy. There's a 10mm, and then these sides pop off. I'll show you that on the bench. Make sure your wheels are straight, that your steering wheel is straight. Alright, we'll remove this and this, which are the electrical for the horn. For this, you can just kind of push down on that part and it'll slide off. Same deal on the other one. And you can just pull it off by hand or wiggle it off. Go ahead and take these all the way out like this. Now this center bolt is a hex 10, a H10. I have a 3/8 inch drive here. Wish I had a 1/2 inch drive, but I don't. I'm going to use this with about a 6-inch extension and a 1/2 inch drive breaker bar to get this free. I'm going to have someone else do the breaker bar while I hold the wheel. Don't do this by yourself and use the wheel lock because you'll probably break the wheel lock. This is on there at least 60 or 65 foot-pounds, I think is the Torx spec. So it's going to be on there pretty tight. You can also use air impact if you have that. Okay, so I got somebody else on the breaker bar and I'm holding the wheel with my legs and my arms. There it is. Okay, So with help, you can get that done with a 1/2 inch, well, this is a 3/8 inch drive socket, and this is a 3/8 to 1/2 inch on this breaker bar, and this is a 24, I think, 24 inch breaker bar. So you can do it. But if you're alone, get your air impact. Okay, so once you have that broken free, you can just get in here and do this yourself. Keep the steering wheel centered while you're doing this. And it's not like other vehicles where you have to really bang the steering wheel or use a steering wheel puller to pull the steering wheel off. Once you remove this steering wheel is going to come off really easily, so keep your legs on it or something to kind of keep it in place. Big old bolt. Now if you look closely here, you will see there are 3 sets of alignment marks. Alright, you can see there's a little black line here, there's a notch here, and then there's an arrow here. Same thing on the bottom. There's the arrow, there's the notch, and there's the line. So keep those in mind because you want to make sure that you are putting the steering wheel on so all of that lines up. You can see there's actually a missing tooth. This notch here is a missing tooth there and a missing tooth there. Okay? So what you're going to be trying to do is make sure that you get that black line in the missing tooth area on the top and on the bottom. Alright? And then the arrow is just kind of helping you to see, hey, look, that's where the missing tooth is. Now this is important. Before you remove this steering wheel, make sure you're not moving it this way or that way. Move it, just pull it straight out. You won't have to fight it at all. You don't want to move the clock spring any. And then once the steering wheel is out, don't accidentally hit the clock spring with your leg if you're getting in and out of the vehicle. Don't move that clock spring. Alright, so keeping in mind I'm not going to move this clock spring. I'm going to try to keep it as centered as possible, and that all of this electrical is going to have to go out this hole. I'm going to grab the wheel and just barely move it forward. Don't move anything. Okay? Watch your electrical so it doesn't get caught and cause the spring to move. And then slowly back the electrical out. Don't let that clock spring move. Keep an eye on it. And then these you'll have to bring out one at a time. You can close these back up. Probably should have done that in the beginning because less likely to move. And turn these and they will fit through. And this last one. Close this back up and pull it out. Okay, there's your clock spring. Don't move it. Now I'm going to be replacing this and this to the black as well. So just because I'm in here and I can reach this, I'm just going to pop this up. But you don't have to do that if you're not going to be replacing it, okay? Don't be fiddling around and move that clock spring. So if you are going to change yours to that top one, you just squeeze up here. I'll show you in the detail a little later. And then right here, there's a Torx 27 here, and then another one way back here. Okay, it's like way back there. Here's what I mean. There's those two. And then I have the tool in on that last one there. It's straight up and down, and these are very long screws. 3 of these screws. Then once you have all those screws out, being sure not to touch the clock spring, put the tilt wheel thing all the way down, and then this will just slide off. There it is. Alright, just a little finessing. Yeah, just put your new black one on in the same order. See how this has this cylindrical part here? You're going to be lining that up with a groove. You'll be able to fill it. So just do it the reverse way. Don't hit the clock spring. I'm actually going to take this panel off because it's going to be easier. Because I don't want to mess this up. So I'm just going to use this. And I'm just going to get under here and pry this off. And once that's off, it'll give me a little bit easier access there. Line it up around the tilt wheel thing. And then slip it on. Okay. There it is. And then push it under the signals. And get those fasteners in place. Okay, now that the bottom piece is on, I'll go with the top piece. I'll start right here to push the cruise control through like that, and then get it around the hazard button. Don't hit the clock spring, and then you're going to line up this with that, that with that, and then on the sides, those little ones on the sides. This is what it looks like when it's on. That's in place, and over here as well. And back there. Okay, and now it's time to carefully put the new steering wheel on, or your same steering wheel if that's the case. So first, just get all your electrical passed through. Once those are through, pull them so that they're not going to interfere at all with your path as you put the wheel back on. To be very careful. Now once those are through, keep track of your marks and bring this on so you're lining those marks back up. I'm not going to be able to show that because the camera will be in my way. Okay, alright, there is my first try and it looks pretty good. Those up and down black marks are at the spot where the missing teeth are, and it looks just about exactly the same as it did before I pulled the wheel. Alright, I'm happy with that, so I'm going to go ahead and put the big bolt back in place, and then I'm going to ask my helper to help me. Now you might want to put some more Loctite on this. I'm not. I'm going to leave it like this. That bolt is going down to 80 Newton meters, which is 59 foot-pounds. Okay, so we got a 1/2 inch drive torque wrench set at 59 foot-pounds, and I'm going to hold the wheel while my helper turns. Okay, go for it. Might have to ratchet down. There you go. That's it. Now the horn contacts, I put the other one in. Make sure you thread it through the hole. The larger one that has the kind of copper look to it is the one that goes on the right side. Just push them on like that. That's all there is to it. So now time for the airbag. And this is pretty straightforward. I'm going to open these back up, which we closed to be able to get through that hole. Do you see this little notch? And take note of that because when you're putting the airbag on, you have to line it up with that notch there, right? So you might turn the airbag upside down so that the screen is facing down, and then that notch will be in the right orientation. When you get it on, make sure it snaps. Okay, gotta make sure it snaps. Then take this, put it in those holes, and make sure that snaps. This has to be on there real well, otherwise your airbag might not work and you'll get a SRS code. Same deal with this. This also has that little notch, and you push it in here. Okay, snap, snap. Now just turn this around and make sure you don't have any wires poking out. And put it back in place. And then you'll get behind there and do these screws again. I was too distracted and forgot to put this piece back on, so make sure you put that on before. To get it back on now, I have to take this and just kind of pull it up and then put it back in. And getting this piece back in is just a matter of lining up all the little clips. Always feels like you're gonna break everything on a Mercedes with trim pieces, and then just get it in place and then it'll snap in. Okay. Oh, wheel's all shined up now. Looks really great. This wheel's in great shape for a used wheel. Now make sure your windshield wipers are in the off position, because we'll reconnect the battery and start her up, and we'll be looking for a SRS code. Hopefully no SRS code. Reconnect that negative terminal on the battery and tack it down real well. Alright, we'll start her up. And no SRS light. Good. Alright, no SRS light. The next thing that you'll want to just check is take her for a test drive and make sure that if she's running straight, if it feels like the alignment needs to be done, you might be off a tooth. The other thing you want to do is check your city horn and make sure that it works. Now we'll do the clock. To set the clock hour, you're going to pull this out and turn it to the left. And to do the minutes, you're going to pull it out and turn it to the right. The problem is these get very sticky over time and they don't turn so well. So sometimes you have to use pliers. Let's see if I can get it going. I'm trying to do the hour right now. And there it goes. I did one. There it goes. Okay. 12 a.m. Alright, now for the minutes, I'm going to pull it out and turn it right. But again, can be very difficult to turn. Okay, it's going now. Okay, so once you have it where you need it, that's it. There's the new pad, and there's the old pad with the airbag on the back. I'm going to turn this over, and with a 10mm, remove each of these. Torque is very low on these. Now that those nuts are all off, you'll notice this little metal piece will come out. Just kind of lift it up, and it'll pull out like that. And then this will be free. Same deal down here on the bottom. I might have to get under it with a pry tool. Okay. Now over here on the sides, this just pops off. Same deal on this side. And you can pull the airbag out now. Let's see. And it'll still be nicely folded up. And put the new one in. Turn this back around. And it goes down here. Goes back under there. Lift this up. Get it all cleared like that. And push the sides in. Okay. Make sure that it's in there. See along that whole length there. Like that. And do the same thing on the other side. Okay. Make sure it's in. Now, make sure this part here is properly placed. And then these are going to come up over that. Same deal up here. Make sure these will reach all the way over like that. And then take your same piece, put it on. fasten these down yet, just to get it started. And do the bottom one as well. This is gonna go under that little part, see? Remember how it was? Just like that. And these are not very tight, only about 50 inch-pounds. So get them on by hand and grab a torque wrench. Okay. And you're all set. You can see, looking on the back of this, that is where the airbag is designed to split. So when it explodes, it's a real weak point there. That's why sometimes on these you can sort of see right there, you can see the break. And when it's a darker color, you can usually see it even better, like that. Right there, you can see it. I hope this video was helpful for you. Good luck with your repair.